Hi, I'm Christine McKay with My Craft Studio, and today it is all about parties. We have Cobi Dickerson with us, and tell us about your blog.
My blog, Entirely Eventful Day, is about hosting parties that we do, and also we do with a party, we're coming up with our own crafts and how to make it look nice and the displays and stuff, so we kind of cover all of it, and even what we do in our home sometimes.
You know, and I love that when we were off camera, we were kind of talking about your website and kind of what you do, and I love that you kind of say it's about how to be a hostess. Because sometimes it goes beyond just the pretty decorations in the jar. Give me some examples of advice that you would give to somebody that is getting ready to throw their very first party.
It's scary to be a hostess because you're worried if anybody's going to come, and then how is the party going to flow, what's going to happen. And so before everyone gets there, you want to make sure that there's stations for people to mingle. So I like to have a drink station.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And a food station and places to sit. And then the party flows around the room or the venue that you're at. Oh,
that's something I wouldn't have thought of, and that's a really good idea, because often as the hostess, and maybe I'm a bad hostess, I'm usually in the kitchen putting the finishing touches on things, and I don't want my guests to feel obligated and have that be the mingling area and make them feel like that they have to help. I want them to be able to mingle with each other, but at the same time, I have a few last minute things I need to do.
Right.
How do you kind of handle that?
So the thing that happens before the party too is your guest list and who you're inviting. So everyone that you invite has to know someone else there pretty well.
Yeah.
Or at least have been introduced and have a conversation before. And then I always like to have a buddy.
A buddy.
I always like to have a buddy because there's always that thing that the hostess, the person that knows it all, has to go and do.
Yeah.
Or a catastrophe happens and you're the only one to take care of it.
Yeah.
So I like to have a buddy that knows how the party is supposed to flow and what's happening and when entertainment happens. And so she kind of can help me with that. And if there's that one person that's left out, which not left out, not on purpose, but
right.
Yeah, that person going to a party is hard. Even sometimes I like close up. And so it's nice when there's someone else helping you mingle with the crowd and introduce people. So I like my buddy to be able to know most of the people there.
That is great advice. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I have never, ever had fun at a party that I've hosted, ever. What am I doing wrong? How can I have fun at my own party? Because I'm usually just too stressed about everybody else having a good time.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
You are right. It is possible. I think it's the curse of the hostess to kind of get to the end of the night and go, really, was that worth it? What, not for me, but was it worth it for anyone else that came?
Right.
But I really believe that if the hostess prepares ahead of time and has your to-do list and then takes the time before the party to get ready and really primp and be prepared, it gives you that mental state to take a deep breath and say, I'm going to have a good time. And then taking the time to actually kind of relax through it.
And by relaxing, kind of maybe letting that perfection go.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Because something's going to happen. You know, something's going to get spilled. Something's going.
So if you kind of know that, you can relax a little bit. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the cute things that you have here, because you know, the tablescaping, I mean, that is so popular right now on blogging. And give me some basics, like the basic anatomy of like a good tablescape.
Well, they're all over the place and everybody loves them, but you have to make sure that there's no gaps, like your eye has somewhere to go. So you have your height, however high you want to go.
Okay.
And sometimes that comes from the ceiling, or sometimes it's just from the table.
So if you have something hanging down, that could be your height.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has to be tabled with something else. You can't just have it floating in the air.
Okay.
So your eye has to be able to see from one level to the next and not have holes, or else your brain kind of says what's wrong.
Right.
So here you have how this tears down all the way down to the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
And then you've intermixed your colors You can have a huge color scheme or just 2 or just 1. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that they're all mixed together. And I love the fact that nowadays we can do food.
Yep.
We can decorate with food, and we can decorate on a table with food. We can decorate
non-edible items.
Yeah.
Unless my 10-year-old son is there, and I'm telling you right now, he would take a bite out of that.
Well, mine probably would too, especially mine with autism. Like, that's just a toy.
But it's absolutely beautiful. And you mentioned your son with autism, because I know that you have a cause that's especially close to your heart. Tell us a little bit about that.
My son is 5, and he's been diagnosed for 3 years. And so it's a part of my life every day. And I blog about it a little bit. And then, but I love to throw parties. So why not throw a party for a cause?
Yep.
You know?
Throw a party for a cause. I like that.
Yep. Yeah. And you raise awareness, you involve your community, and you get out there. And I feel like this is one of my talents, so why not share it? I love it. So.
I think that's such a great message. Okay, so we are going to do a little something here called rapid fire. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and then you get to give me kind of your first immediate response. So give me one item or one party. What one thing in your party planning that was a total fail?
Oh my gosh, Bunko, like 2 weeks ago, I did cheese. Like, that wasn't even hard. I tried to do this cheese fondue, and it was awful. I always try a new recipe, and sometimes it works. So
the fondue fail.
It failed.
So, Miss Perfect Hostess, is it smart to test the recipes before the event? I'm just teasing.
It usually is, but I usually don't.
You know, I just let Velveeta do it. I just like, that's mine.
I tried Gouda. Like, what was I thinking?
Okay, so another one that I have is, what is one craft that totally intimidates you that you've not tried?
I don't refinish furniture. Is that a craft that we can choose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I've painted furniture, but only with someone holding my hand.
Okay.
That's
a good one.
Me.
That's a good one. Okay, what would be your biggest party nightmare?
No one showing up.
No one showing up. No, that would be the worst.
It just is hard. It's hard. I mean, I've done parties where only a few show up, you know, due to the timing or different
events.
Things. Oh, and it just breaks you hard.
Feeling.
Your heart. It's really hard.
Well, Cobi, thank you so much for joining us here today. And I love the messages you taught, that it goes beyond just the table, although the table really is so much fun. And I'm sure that there are tons of ideas on your website.
Yep.
And tell our viewers where they can go to check that out.
EntirelyEventfulDay.com.
Great. So thank you so much. And don't forget to join us next time right here on My Craft Studio.